Let's go back to our rectangle and box class example here. So this is our rectangle class where we've declared our length and width, and notice that they're now set to protected. So the way we would make a variable protected is no different than how we would make it public or private. It's just instead of saying private double length, we would just say protected double length, and we do the same thing for our width. Now let's take a look at the box class. So we're still inheriting from the rectangle class. We still have our height and it's set to private. But take a look at the definition of our default constructor here. So notice that we're no longer calling super. We don't have to do that because since length and width are both protected, we're now allowed to directly access the length and width. So we can just set them to 0 and we're perfectly fine. Could I call super and have the rectangle constructor take care of it? Yes, I could. But because length and width are now protected, we don't need that anymore. We can just directly access those variables as if they were already in the subclass. Now, we still can use the reserved word super for any overridden methods from the superclass. So even though in our constructor we said we don't have to use the super constructor, that doesn't mean that we don't need to use the word super at all. We can still use the super from the overridden methods. So let me give you an example. So let's suppose we want to override the toString method. So inside here, I could just return a concatenated string with the length and then the width and then the height. I can do that. But I could use the toString method from the superclass. I could do super.toString. Either approach works perfectly fine. I just want to show here that we can still use the reserved word super with overwritten methods from the superclass. The last thing I want to reiterate with protected data members is that if we do create an object of a class, we cannot directly access the protected members. They're still private outside of the class where the variable was declared. So let me give you an example just to show this. So let's say in my client, I create an object of the rectangle class, which I call my rectangle here. And let's say I want to set the length of my rectangle to 5. If I try to do myRectangle.length equals 5, this is an illegal statement because here I'm still trying to directly access the length data member. Protected means it's only public to the subclass and it's private to everything else. So I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to use some corresponding method that allows me to set the length to 5. But directly accessing this does not work at all. I'm not allowed to do that.